Alright, stay off grid here. Just a quick video on rudder alignment and rake in under the boat. Alright, let's get on with it. Alright, well, I was speaking to Daniel Anderson via Messenger during the week or yesterday about his boat. He just recently won the national titles. He won 5 races out of 7 on a GRP fiberglass boat. So it wasn't a foam boat, the lighter boat, it was a GRP boat. Now there's been a lot to say about $500 boats winning the national titles. Well, I think the thing was that Grady McNee had said that you only need a $500 boat to be competitive. Well, that's true. If you sail in the national titles, whatever, you're being competitive. But can you win a title on a $500 boat? Well, Mark Cliff had said, well, this proves you can, because Daniel's boat is a $500 boat. Well, it kind of isn't, it kind of isn't. So Daniel searched a long time for the lightest GRP hulls he could find. So he was going around weighing boats and he found a light set of hulls, the lightest he could find, and he bought them. And he bought them for about $500. He spent $5,000 on the boat, but that was 15 years ago. He fully re-rigged the boat. Now, in 2023, I've spent $13,000 replacing everything. The only parts that aren't new are the hulls, but they're foam sandwich hulls, the beams, and nothing wrong with beams, and the rudder casings, and there's not too much wrong with rudder casings that are going to go wrong anyway. And so I spent 12 to 13 grand in 2022. That was. Daniel Anderson has rebuilt a boat with the lightest hulls he could find, and it's cost him $5,000 15 years ago. So that's about the same, I reckon, with inflation. He spent about the same amount of money on a boat. And then that boat, being built like that with all new parts, has lasted him 15 years, and he's won several national titles on it. Now he's sold it, it's sold for $3,000. So it's definitely not a $500 Maricat, it's a $3,000 Maricat. And it's a very light one at that. So that explains why obviously he's got 40 years experience up his sleeve, very good sailor. But also the boat makes a big difference as well. All right, well, let's have a look at the rudders. So we've got the Pivmatic here. So when you something hits the rudder when it's down. Oh, we'll do that in a minute. Hang on. So my rudders aren't turning, so this is in travel mode at the moment. There's an ocky strap here on the corner, and there's an ocky strap on the other corner, so they don't move anywhere. I found about that. These are just little tiny ocky straps, about 30 centimeters. There goes my tarpaulin. The wind's... All right, so we've got a redhead sails trampoline. I know I was looking at the rudders. I'll get back to the rudders. I just went this way for a bit. All right, so the black trampoline, you can get it in black or grey. I got the black because my sail is black, blue and white. So I've got a black tramp, I've got blue piping, I've got blue rope on the main sheet. There's blue piping on these edges here, and blue straps for your feet, blue rope in the middle holding the straps down, and blue rope holding the straps down at the ends. Dark blue at the top and light blue at the bottom. All right, so the hulls are a foam sandwich hull. It's called Bulldozer 2 because the old president of the Maricat Association, they were his hulls. So I've got this, he had a different sale number, but now I've gone to 5604. So okay, so the foam sandwiches, the foam sandwich boats have a hatch here. The hatch is looking like it's between the beam, or between this part of the boat and the back of the boat. It's about halfway. Now, these boats, the foam sandwich boats, if I just take that under there for a sec, they don't have a bung. Now, so they could be still there, but from what I've seen, they're a little bit further back to allow you to work the fiberglass in there. So they're removing the bung down here, they're fiberglassing the outside, and then from the inside they're fiberglassing it to get bungs out, and then they've got the same hatches as the foamies. But the foamies have that number there. So on the foamies, I don't know why we don't call the foamies Mark 3s, it'd make it so much easier. You'd have Mark 1. Mark 1 has a separate beam to the track, so you'll have a beam and then you'll have a track. That's Mark 1. Mark 2 has the track built into the beam, and then there's foamies, which should be called Mark 3, I reckon. But anyway, so the foamy, the number there, AU NAC 05604, so that's the whole number, 5604 or 05604. We don't worry about the 0. So my hull number is 5604 and my sail number is 5604. There's nothing in the rules to say that you have to have the same sail number. So my favourite number is 12. I could run 12 on this sail if I wanted, but I like to have the hull number and the sail number the same. Now, on the Mark 1s and on the Mark 2s, so this is a Mark 2 foamy, that's where that is, okay? So you can tell that that's a foamy. Some of the other Mark 2s have these hatches and they have no bung, but they don't have that number there, and if they do, well, I mean, that would be a forgery, wouldn't it? Now, given that, there's nothing to say that I think some Mark 2 hulls, say, let's say Daniel Anderson found the lightest one he could, there's probably not much, from what I've heard, there's a few light ones out there that are probably nearly the same weight as what the foamy is. So I don't know about that, it could be true or not. Now, Mark 2s, fiberglass, GRP, that's something, I'll have to see what GRP stands for. I've had it before, but laid up fiberglass, I think you'll find it's something like that. So the Mark 2 and a Mark 1, to find the hull number, which should be the sail number, if you've got a real old sail, it probably is the sail number. Maybe one of those real old colourful ones, it would probably have the sail number. So underneath that beam, that's where the number is, either on this side or on the other side. I don't know whether it's port or starboard, but it's just in there and it's texted in, that's all. So you'd have to take it off if you really want to find your hull number. You've got to take your front beam off, but I recommend just leaving the front beam as it is, unless there's some reason you have to take it off, because you've got to do all this new puttying stuff in here to make sure it's aligned properly. So yeah, I don't recommend pulling it off, but if you've got the experience in it, no worries, pull it off. Or if it's an old boat and you're curious, pull it off and then reset it. To realign the hulls, you need to have some sort of a setup that you can put a string from this corner to the back corner on the opposite side, and a string from that corner to the back corner on the other side, which then you can work out your alignment to make sure that it's set up properly so that the hulls are square and aligned. There are GRP boats out there which are heavier than foamies, but the GRP, the process is that each boat can be a different weight, because it's just the way you lay how much fiberglass you lay into it. Whereas I think the foam sandwich is a newer system, better way to make a boat, which makes them more consistent in weight. But anyway, if you want to check the rear quarter of the starboard hull has got that number on the back to check that it's a foamy. Otherwise, it might have the covers, it might have no bungs, but it might still be a GRP boat, so watch out for that. All right, moving on. All right, well, it was starting to rain then, but I had to go out back to the caravan, but I'm back out again now in a shirt. All right, so let's look at the rudder rake. These are brand new rudders. I've got a clamp here onto a rule that's been cut down from 1 meter to 790, and that's in line with a pintle. So the pintle is this pin the pinter's the pin here, so I've got that ruler in line with it, and down here we're going to measure how much rake I've got on the rudder, which is quite a lot. So they say that about 35mm rake for cat rig, or 50mm rake for sloop rig or super sloop. So these ones out of the box, they're at about 70mm, I think. Let's have a look. All right, so I'm gonna go from, got an eye at, but it's about 75mm. I'll just try and do that with two hands. Put that in there. Yeah, 75mm. So now with the rake on it of 70mm, and that's flat bottom, it means that when the boat's straight, flat, as it would sit on the water, or as it sits on the water anyway, not necessarily flat, but as it's sitting on the water, it means that the bottom edge, flat edge, and then with that 70mm rake, it means that the point is at the front and the water's coming across that point. So that seems to be great. I've tested them. So they're 25mm ahead of the super sloop, what they're running them at. But these are brand new, they're slightly different. They're off the NACRA 350. So in order to continue to make parts for the Maricat, they're using part swapping. So these rudders are from the 350, and the original molds from the Maricat rudders was broken. So they've made a new mold, and these rudders are those new molds. So anyway, so I've tested them, and at that, straight out of the bat, I had no problem with them. It was neutral to sail, and if anything, it was going upwind. So when you got a gust, it was definitely wanted to go up. So but then the rest of the time neutral. My rudders, I have got the rudders, you'll see a mark here and a mark there. That's measured up from measured the whole rudder, and then I measure it, because these are square, I measure up from the bottom to halfway point, and measure up from the bottom halfway point. Do that on both rudders. Do that on both rudders, and then the measurement between the 2 points on the back and on the front should be equal. So they're absolutely parallel in the down position. Some people have them, well, I'll let this one up. Some people have them, well, that to me, I'll see what this one looks like when I bring that one up. So that to me, how I've got the rudders sitting, is straight ahead to the top point here, looking straight down the rudder. It's aligned with this. Now going to the other one, it's got a slight toe in. So I know Rodney Anderson was saying to me that, you know, Wayne likes them straight, he likes them with this toe in. That's how he adjusts his now. Well, that's got that toe in. It's got about a 15-degree toe in, and they're level down the bottom. So it's the same outcome either way you're doing it, really. It's a little bit by eye to do it this way, and it's precise to do it down the bottom and measure across from these marks. Wayne Barry is a 5-time national champion. He told me that, how to do that. I'm giving away his secrets. I'm sure he doesn't mind. Now, while I'm making this video, I'll just get that rope off there, put that back on top. I'm going to need that later. If you haven't got a set of beach rollers, you want to get some, you can get them from Brisbane Catamaran Centre. They can send them. I got these done through Postal. They come as a little kit that you just put together and put some screws into it, not even pop rivets, so just screws, and it makes you get easier to get the boat. You know, you can, especially with these light ones, the GRPs, well, I can just, if I don't even bother taking the trailer, backing it in anywhere, I just undo the bolt boat, put these wheels at the back, slide it onto the wheels, and then just wheel the boat round. At Twofold Bay Yacht Club, there's a bit of a steep ramp down to the water. I can take that down and bring it back up, no problem whatsoever, because the boat's just so light. I'm Star Off Grid. Please like and subscribe on YouTube.